Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of G-Dub's Point of View. I am your host G-Dub. We are here for day 9 of the G1 Climax. This is officially the halfway point. It's gone by so fast already, which is pretty insane to think about, that there's only another 9 days of action and really another 2 weeks of insane competition that it's already coming to an end and it just got started. But yeah, we're here for another night of A block action. Personally, I think this is probably the best overall card A Block has had, or the best overall night A Block has had in their 5 days, which is awesome. I think it's, especially with the card that was presented, I didn't think it would actually be this good, but every match really held up, which was fun to see. The only tag match note I really had is the only tag match I watched was the Kenny and Chase against Sonata and Naito tag, and of course, Naito gets the pin on Chase, and then Sonata and Kenny have a stare down, and then Naito calls for the LIJ salute, and Sonata just walks off. So I thought that was interesting. Again, it plays into the tension of the two of them, because I think Evil's still buddies with Naito, and so is Bushi. But Sonata's obviously kind of being his own man this tournament, so I'm interested to see where that goes. And obviously everyone's looking forward to their match on August 8th, which I think is main eventing that night, which I hope so, because that'll be a killer match with a great story going into it. But the first match of the night tonight was Michael Elgin versus Minoru Suzuki. This might have been my favorite match of the night. I thought it was just phenomenal. They had a very intense, hard-hitting start where Elgin's kind of just showing up Suzuki and saying, like, I came to play today, man. And Suzuki, a lot of times early on in matches, that's kind of his style, is he is the hard-hitting dude that doesn't really sell early. If you'll knock him down enough to where he'll start selling. But tonight he was selling early. Like, Elgin would hit him with a chop, and he's like backing up to the ropes and like staggering to the ropes, like how much it hurt. Like, that was, I mean, he was selling. Elgin was really hitting him hard, which was nice to see. Of course, they had a spot where Elgin's arm gets exposed and targeted, and Suzuki, of course, is just the master manipulator when it comes to stuff like that. So he had some brutal arm targeting on Elgin, and I think the thing that really put it over, of course, is the constant attack on it, plus Elgin's just great selling throughout the match. I think he kind of let it go a little bit towards the end of the match, but for the majority of, I think he probably started getting it targeted probably around the 3-minute mark or so, and really until like the 13-minute mark, he was selling it hard. Like, he was just normal stuff. He was running with like his elbow tucked in. He was trying to do all these big lifts with just one arm, or if he did it with 2 arms, he'd immediately go back to not having an advantage because he'd be holding his arm. He was selling it just really well. So big credit to him, because it made Suzuki look great. They had some of those strike trades towards the end where they're trying to do the manly stuff, and especially the big forearms. They were clapping each other. Oh man, it was I think I wrote down it was horrifying just listening to the noises they were making, especially like Suzuki. Those big thuds are ridiculous. And then Elgin whips off the damn elbow pad and starts just going to town on Suzuki, and they're just trading back and forth, and then eventually Suzuki starts hitting him with the palm strikes, and there's just sweat flying everywhere. It was just super hard hitting. And of course the finish was really good. It made both of them look amazing. And Suzuki hits another pile driver, which he said he was going to do. So yeah, Suzuki gets his win. He's at 6 points now. He's making his way back up the ladder. Elgin's still stuck at 4. He'll probably get, he's got 4 more matches. He'll probably win at least 2 of those. I don't see him finishing with anything less than 8 points, and Suzuki has the possibility of finishing in double digits. Hell, he might even make the finals if they want to give him that spot. So I'm really interested to see where both of these guys are going, and they probably had my favorite match of the night, of this night. Second match was Evil and Paige. I thought this was a really good match as well. It was fun. They had a really fast start. They didn't go into the whole technicality stuff. They just went right for hitting each other. Paige is kind of in a weird spot, or not. It's not weird. It's cool. Of being a blend of kind of old school brawling and new school flips and tactics, that he can really kind of adjust to whatever style they want to work. So with Evil kind of being a more brawler, he kind of goes more old school, and really just like, all right, we're gonna just bang, we're just gonna bang it out, and they just instantly went for it and started just smashing each other. It was pretty intense. They had actually, I thought they did a really good job. It's almost a 16-minute match. I think they did a really good job of balancing momentum trading, where a guy would have momentum for a couple minutes, and then there'd be a spot where there'd shift momentum, and then it would shift back, and then they do that. Each of them have about 2 minutes or 3 minutes of having the momentum, and then it would trade. And I thought it was done really effectively. Of course, both of them have great power spots. Page does his damn, hanging. I don't even know what to call it. It's like a back throw, but he has like a pump handle, and then he does a suplex with them and holds the bridge, and it looks great in all the smaller guys, and then he hits it on someone like Evil, who weighs 270 pounds or 260 pounds, and it looks exact. I think it was a little worse, but that's a lot of weight to pick up, and of course the bridge was just perfect. So, and then Evil, of course, gets all of his big strikes and his big clotheslines, and just hammering away at Page, and it looked great. Of course, the finish was really good. I liked the constant reversals, and then eventually Evil gets enough offense in that he can hit everything is Evil and get the pin. The crowd was super behind Page, though. By the end, they wanted to see him win, and I think I had seen a comment on, I think it had to have been the Reddit, saying Page might go down as having, along with Juice, potentially this tournament, of having the best point to match ability ratio, to where he's going to have the least amount of points to show for the absolutely incredible performances he put in. Because, man, all 5 of his matches have been really good. Of course, he had the weird match with Fale where they had the DQ, but he's had the Elgin, Okada, Tanahashi, and now Evil, and all 4 of them have been really, really good matches. And he's of course, the only one he won was by DQ, and I mean, I think he'll get at least 1 more, if not 2 more wins the rest of the tournament, and he'll probably finish towards the bottom. But man, he's just absolutely proven himself as a superstar this tournament. And I'm so happy to be proven right, in a sense, because in my prediction video I was really looking for Page to be the standout of the tournament, and so far he's proven everybody that doubted him wrong, and proving my prediction correct, which I'm very happy to see. Of course, the third match was Jay White versus Bad Luck Fale. It was actually a really fun opening, because they're both just massive heels, and the crowd doesn't really know who to chant for. They kind of just want to see both guys lose. But yeah, it was a super fun opening. Of course, Jay kind of slinks out of the ring and then goes and pulls Tongaloa off the apron and has Fale chase him around the ring, and people are kind of cheering for Jay at that point, which was funny. Of course, I don't even know if they really. I think I was trying to count. I don't think there was a wrestling move until like the 6-minute mark, and this is like an almost 12-minute long match. It was, and they just were brawling for the first 5.5 minutes of the match. And I really like the part where they're brawling in the stands, and Fale's throwing, or no, Jay had the advantage, and he throws Fale into the chairs. And then he starts getting young lions and throwing them at Fale as weapons. And then at one point he picks one of them up for a body slam, and then body slams him into Fale on the ground, which I thought was great. It was really funny to watch. And being that, Jay White was most recently a young lion, within the past year or past couple of years, it was funny to see kind of a little bit of irony of him just using his former self as weapons in his matches. And another note I wrote down was it's just constant brawling. It just felt like this match was just constantly them going after each other. There was no really rules or anything, and Red Shoes was just kind of like, all right, I'm just gonna let them fight, whatever. So yeah, I enjoyed that for that aspect. I put down that the towards the end, of course, I forget what the spot was. Oh, maybe it was the grenade spot. Fale's going for the grenade, and then Jay pushes, or no, I think it was suplex, and then Jay pushes Fale into the corner. But of course, the Red Shoes is there, so he gets pummeled in the corner and he's down. And I thought it was actually a really nice irony that the ref spot ended up coming back to cost Jay, because that's how he had gotten all of his wins so far, was by all the ref spots. and knocking refs out and going for all the DQs, and then all of a sudden it's 3-on-1 now because the ref's out. I thought that was a nice little irony for his character of being like, well, there's certain people who can't get away with that. And towards the end, like, Loa and Tama came in to do interference, and then Jay hit him with a couple low blows and was looking to get the win, and the crowd was actually cheering for Jay, that was hard to do. That's a tough choice of trying to pick who to choose for there. But they picked Jay, and then of course Fale ends up getting the win. But I thought that was a fun match. It was probably my least favorite just because there wasn't a whole lot of wrestling going on, but I thought it was really enjoyable. And the ending with White being costed by knocking out the ref was pretty funny, and it kind of just is like, all right, in your face, man. Let's learn how to really wrestle. But I like that for like a character flaw of like he can't ever get away from knocking out the ref. Of course, Fale gets another win, so Jay's still stuck at 6 points. Fale's at 4, and then you have Evil right now. Of course, in the last match won, so he's at 8 points, which is nice to have Evil at the top there. Semi-final match was Tanahashi versus Makabe. I thought this match was actually pretty bland. It was 12 minutes on the dot. Tanahashi, of course, wins, goes up to 8 points, so he's up there with Evil. And Makabe's still stuck at 4. They had a solid technical opening. They're just going through some chain wrestling and showing off their strength. Of course, continuity, so Makabe's going to go after the knee, and he had some nice knee targeting. Both looked good throughout the match. They both got their offense in. They both, actually like looked good. And they were both very popular. Of course, Tanahashi's very beloved as a wrestler, and then Makabe is very popular in Japan from having his own cooking show, and so being just a popular figure in Japanese pop culture. So they both were being cheered the whole time. No one really, the crowd was into it because they liked both people in the match. Man, and another thing was Makabe was killing Tanahashi with some lariats, especially towards the end, like the last 3 minutes. It seemed like every offensive move was Makabe throwing this massive lariat and just crushing Tanahashi, which I hadn't actually seen out of Makabe before. Him just going to town with the lariats. But of course, it all comes down to the end, and Makabe misses the King Kong knee drop and goes for a running lariat, and Tanahashi counters into a sling blade, hits the high fly flow off the top, went on for a cross body, and then goes up and hits the high fly flow splash for the pin. But yeah, I thought it was a real basic match. This is probably my fourth favorite of the night. I liked it better than the Jay White Fale match, but wasn't anything special. It was just a really solid match between two of the older guys, just knowing how to go out there and work the crowd and have an effective match with good storytelling and a little strong style thrown in and a good finish. So it was just real basic. So I can't fault them for that. Kind of allowed both of them to dial it back a little bit from maybe if they're a little tired or sore or whatnot. They still went to town, but they really, there was like a pacing off of where, like, especially where Tanahashi's wrestled lately. It was like one pace back from that, so it hopefully allowed these guys to take a little bit of an easier day. Of course, the main event, which was probably my second favorite match of the night, which who would have thought I would have said that at the start of this tournament, which is Kazuchika Okada against Yoshihashi. Man, what a great match. There was a hot start. People were so loud for it, probably the loudest at the start of a match all night. I liked seeing like arrogant asshole Okada. Especially, it's kind of a weird dynamic of Okada being the leader of Chaos, and Yoshihashi's was his tag partner in Tag League for the past 5 of the past 6 years. Right, yeah, because he was in it from 2012 to 2016. They were partners, and then they skipped 2017. And they were both just super aggressive right off the bat. And Okada's just like, kicking him around like, you're not worth my time. This is the big shot, this is the main event. Like, you're not supposed to be here. Yeah, I know you're my tag partner and you're in my faction, but you're not supposed to be here. And Yoshihashi's like, I'm going to beat your ass, which I love. I love seeing this aggressive Yoshihashi. He looks great. He got some huge chance pretty quick in, like 4 or 5 minutes in. He was getting some big chance. I like kind of the the dynamic of how they targeted different things. I think it was Okada started focusing on Yoshihashi's neck or Yoshihashi's arm, and then Yoshihashi started focusing on Okada's neck, and so they each had a target to pick, and I like that because they each had something to work on in the match that could be used later on for counters and whatnot. Of course, there's one point about halfway through the match, maybe a little over halfway through, where Okada, actually I think it's maybe towards the end, maybe about the 15-16 minute mark, where Okada hits the sit out Rainmaker. For you guys watching that haven't been watching New Japan for super long, you might have, and Yoshihashi kicked out, of course. You've been like, okay, first off, why does Yoshihashi get to kick out a Rainmaker? And second off, what the fuck was that move? Well, when Okada came back from Excursion, and this was Wrestle Kingdom 6. Wrestle Kingdom 6. And he came back from Excursion at the same time Yoshihashi did. And these two had their return match was a singles match at Wrestle Kingdom on the undercard. Okada looked fucking terrible. He looked out of shape. I don't know about out of shape, but he didn't look, he looked goofy. His hair was really weird. And that was his finisher, was he had this Rainmaker, but it was this weird sit-out version. And of course he pinned Yoshihashi with it on the show. Now, of course, that leads into the bigger story of Okada challenging Tanahashi later that night for like a New Beginning show. And then when the time came for the New Beginning show, he showed up with the big jacket, he trimmed down, he hit Tanahashi with that big Rainmaker that we all know and love today, and won the heavyweight championship for the first time. But I loved the callback to that because it was Okada basically saying like, you're nothing, you're not good enough. I'm gonna beat you with the move I beat you with at this point 6 years ago, 6.5 years ago. I thought it was such a great callback, and to have Yoshihashi kick out was so perfect because the crowd kind of recognized what it was, and to have Yoshihashi kick out and give him this big boost of like, he's grown since then, and Okada's just being disrespectful. So for you guys worrying, he was not kicking out of the real Rainmaker. He just kicked out of the sit out version, which is not nearly as strong. And he's only ever used it twice, and it's both times have been against Yoshihashi. So it's 1 for 2. Yoshi got some great offense in, especially like he had a long sequence with locking in the butterfly lock, and just was wearing Okada down, and the crowd was super hot for it, and they wanted to see Okada tap, which is pretty impressive. And they had some aggressive strike trades real late, where they were just pummeling each other and slapping each other around, and it looked great. Yoshi looked like $1 million. And the thing is, usually whenever Okada's so good that he can make his opponents usually look like superstars. In this case, because of the character he's trying to portray right now, the big Rainmaker Okada usually does that. But this kind of offbeat Rainmaker isn't the same. I think a lot of the credit has to go to Yoshihashi for stepping up his game so much in this tournament. He went from kind of the laughingstock of Chaos and laughingstock of New Japan to being a legitimate B-show main eventer in the span of 5 singles matches, which is fucking incredible. And I'm so happy to be proven wrong, because I said in my predictions video, I was like, this is the one guy that does nothing for me. I think he's pretty boring, I can't miss a match now. The rest of this tournament, I will not miss a Yoshihashi match. Of course, I don't usually miss them anyway, just because I'm doing these reviews, but like those are going to have special attention now, especially the way he had gone in this tournament so far, and then him main eventing against Okada. I was actually really looking forward to this match, and it delivered. They had a good finish. Of course, it wasn't anything special, but it was a good finish. But I personally have this down as one of my best A-block matches so far. The storytelling of Yoshihashi trying to prove himself and prove his spot in New Japan, having the crowd get so much behind him, even over a guy like Okada, who's a fan favorite and always probably will be, to have people wanting to see Yoshihashi win, and him having the right, fiery comeback moments and the right attitude and everything, and look great. I love the new gear. He definitely needs to keep that because he doesn't look as weird anymore. and he doesn't look as, spaced out as he usually does. He looks a lot more focused and a lot more in tune. And I love to see the improvement, and he really has proven himself this tournament, and I love to see it. But yeah, I overall this night delivered on every level I can really think of. I think overall though they've had 5 shows. This is probably their best show, top to bottom. Maybe the only one that comes close is actually probably the Okada Page night, which is the free one you can check out if you haven't seen a G1 show. You can go on New Japan World and find the Okada Page main event show, and it's actually free. You don't have to have a subscription to watch it. That might actually be the best or second best show for A Block so far. I think this is the other one in contention for that. Of course, there will be cards that are better later on. Of course, last night of A Block is going to be Okada Tanahashi, but for the 5 matches on the card, this might be one of the best of the entire tournament, and I love to see it. But yeah, that'll do it for this video. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it to this point, please share and subscribe. If you enjoy the content, I'm putting stuff out for every day, at least trying to. I'm been a little bit behind as to actually getting the days out, but I am recording something for every single day of competition, and I will at least have everything caught up by the time next weekend rolls around for next weekend shows, because I know we pretty much roll through. We have because today's Saturday, we have Sunday off from action, and then we have Monday, Tuesday, and then we have a break day, and then it goes into Thursday. So I know I will by Thursday have everything caught up. But again, thank you so much for watching if you made it to this point, and I will see you next time for Day 10 review.